Yeah, so one of the things we get asked about a lot in our classes and on our workshops and stuff, people say things like, how do I improve my balance, or what's the one thing I can do to improve my balance, or should I use my core, should I do this, should I do that, should I clean my teeth standing on one leg, is that going to improve my balance? And Antonio and I usually have kind of like a stock answer for questions about balance. People are usually talking about staying upright, about being able to balance on one leg and not fall over, or improve their tennis game, or anything like that. And our stock answer is usually this: that all of the stuff we do in class or on a workshop or on a retreat or something improves your balance. There isn't like one specific thing, and it's a confused understanding really to think that there's one special exercise that's somehow going to fix something as profound as human balance. That humans being bipeds, the fact that they can stand up and move around is an amazing it's an amazing feat, really. And what we usually fail to understand is that all of the key systems of the body contribute to that process of staying upright, of everything being able to move and adjust and manipulate our environment. It's truly amazing. But having said that, in order to improve your balance, there are a couple of things that you want to get into. So a couple of things that you want to get on board with, whatever kind of training you do, that's going to make a massive difference. And just talking about them in a general sense, in the beginning phases, there are some things that you do want to do, you do want to get into. So number one is that you want to remove restriction from your body. You want to remove the stiffness, the restriction, the contraction, the tension from your body as much as you can. It's such a major process to kind of undertake, and the benefits are huge for everything, including balance. All these systems, we use words to help communicate, but none of the words accurately describe the way, the interconnected nature of the human body. So removing restriction from the body is major. If your body's stiff, it can't balance very well. Whatever you do, it can't balance when you sit down, when you stand, when you walk, when you stand on one leg, because it doesn't allow for force to translate through your body. Not only force, not only movement, but things like your perception, your proprioception, nerve function, flow of fluids. So the stiff, contracted parts of your body get squeezed, and it's kind of like it squeezes the life out of those bits. You don't feel them anymore. They don't really work that well. And the big problem is that because you don't feel them anymore, you're not really aware of them anymore. So you don't really know. So not knowing and not having that basic level of body awareness is a huge problem. It's so common. It's probably the main thing that we work on, is restoring that function. Restore natural function, restore natural balance. So removing restriction, and to begin with, that means opening your joints. You've got to open all of them, right? You can't just open some and say, oh, these are important. I want this part of my body is important. This part isn't important. They all work together and they're all really important. But having said that, depending on where you are in your training, you want to especially work on opening the hips. So we do loads of stuff to open the hips, but just as an example, squatting's brilliant, doing the static lunge is brilliant, and all of the hip rotation stuff and all the mat work stuff that Antonio does. You've got to get into it. You've got to make the hips, which in most people are very stiff, even people who are very active, and sometimes especially people who are very active, if you do lots of running or something like that, or often some of the martial artists I teach, they're incredibly stiff, which is amazing because it's such a detriment to your art. It's such a detriment to your practice. Opening the hips is majorly important. Opening the spine is hugely important. If the spine isn't supple, if it's like a stiff rod, that's no good. The spine isn't a stiff rod. It's loads of small joints. And let's just say, for argument's sake, they all need to be able to move and adjust to keep this system, this body, balanced, whatever you do. Nothing to do with standing on one leg. Everything you do. Just as important is you need to open your feet. You need to make your feet pliable. if you've got a pet, like a cat or a dog, you know, I love animals and nature and stuff, and you have a look at their paws are kind of lovely and squishy, and when they put them down, they spread out. They're not like these stiff chalk ices, as Antonio calls them, not stiff blocks. All of the joints are malleable, supple, and they're strong. So we want that balance between that kind of support and that suppleness. So feet, hips, spine, you've got to get them moving, right? It's such an important thing to do. And what you'll find is that as well as improving your balance, all the key systems of your body are going to improve, because if those parts are impeded, it has a detrimental effect on everything. So there's one other thing that's probably worth mentioning in terms of balance, and that's kind of your level of ability to pay attention to what you're doing, to be in your body, to have your attention in your body and not distracted away on the outside or consumed with thinking about random stuff that's got nothing to do with what you're doing at that time, right? And this is a long-term project, yeah? All the stuff we do is a long-term project. While you're alive, you've got to work on this stuff to keep everything cool, yeah? To, you know, make everything work and have an enjoyable life and have an enjoyable body. So the nature of the mind, as far as I can tell, is to be distracted with something other than what you're doing, usually on the outside and definitely away from our own internal experience. The internal athlete, you have to bring your attention inside. You want to, and this is a brilliant phrase, saturate your body, your whole body with attention, so that all the bits, the whole thing is alive and it's feeling and alive, right? Dead bits don't feel. Like a dead stick that's dried out and just snaps, it doesn't have any feeling, it doesn't have any life. So we want to saturate our attention into the body, okay? So that requires opening the body, because if your body's not open, you can't kind of get in, you can't feel into it, you can't saturate inside. So that's one thing. And then the other thing, the busy mind, the distracted mind who always wants, you know, novelty, and I've got more information. If I read more books about anatomy, it's going to help my balance. That busy monkey mind, we've got to train, right? Just like learning anything else, it just takes time. You've got to train it to come back, to come inside, and to be inside your body. So that's what we do when we do our training, right? When we're doing all the opening exercises, any of the exercises, none of them are kind of like automated. You don't want to be in like a trance or a relaxed flow. They're very common misconceptions about like mind-body training. You hear about it, and I hear about it many, many, many times over the years, right? So we don't want to be in like a trance or a relaxed kind of like floaty, unaware state or automated. We want to be alive, yeah? That means like now, in your body. So opening the body, yeah, bringing your attention onto what you're doing when you're training, not having distraction, and that's something you have to do to bring the mind back. It's like training a muscle, isn't it? Bringing it back into what you're doing, learning how to feel, getting right into what you're doing. It's such an amazing process. So balance, that's how you do it. That's how you improve. It's a long-term project. There aren't any quick fixes. The quick fix is the slow fix. The slow fix is making it a part of your daily life, your daily training, and paying attention to what you're doing.